Let me start off by saying, if you are a cake mix snob, or more importantly, a canned frosting snob, don't turn your nose up to this one. This recipe does not taste like it came from a box or that you used canned frosting. This Southern Praline Pecan cake is the perfect fall cake. It's moist, it's nutty, and best of all, it's super easy. Welcome or welcome back. I know you're going to love this recipe. And when you do, you give us that thumbs up. Don't cost a thing. If you are new here, hit the subscribe button and also hit those notifications so that you get all of our Simply Southern Grub recipes as they post. Follow along with me. I'll show you what techniques and ingredients that I use to turn this cake mix into a decadent fall Southern Praline Pecan cake. To start this Southern Praline cake, you're going to need to get your Bundt pan. You're going to want to liberally grease your pan. I have used Baker's Joy, and then set this off to the side and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Grab yourself a mixing bowl. Guys, this is going to go real quick. This is a super easy cake to mix up, but it is not short on flavor. So we're going to start with 1 box of butter pecan cake mix. So just add this to your mixing bowl. How easy was that? I do love to make cakes from scratch, but every now and then I like an easy cake to put together. And this one is not going to taste like it came from a box. No one will know the better. You will need a half a cup of butter or oil. I like to use butter in my cake mixes. It just makes them taste more homemade. You will also need 4 eggs. So I've already cracked these. Real easy pour in there. You will also need 1 cup of buttermilk. That's right, we're replacing that water for buttermilk. This will give it so much more flavor. It will be moister and more rich. More rich, that's what I want to be. Now we're going to add an ingredient that you wouldn't think would go in a cake. You would think it would go on a cake. We're not. We're putting it in it. This is the coconut pecan creamy supreme frosting. Yes, this goes right in your cake. This is going to help give it that praline pecan taste. Just add it right in with your other ingredients. I know it seems weird, right? Believe me, you will not be sorry that you did it. And no one will know the better either, okay? It will taste like praline pecans. That's it. We're going to now mix this together until it's all incorporated. That's all mixed. Now our last ingredient. I did say it's got pecans in it, right? It does. It's the praline pecan cake. Our last ingredient that we're going to add in the Southern Praline Pecan cake is some pecans. Now, the recipe calls for a full cup. We're going to put a half cup here, and then I'll show you what we'll do with the other half cup. We have roasted our pecans, and for anything that I use in baking, I always roast my nuts. It brings out so much more flavor and the oils. Look right up here. I'll show you how I did mine. We're just going to fold these in. Again, that is a half a cup that we're folding into our cake batter. So just give it a good fold. Oh my goodness, those nuts smell delicious. When I tell you roasting brings out the flavor, it so does. So just get that folded in. All I need to do now is pour this batter into the Bundt pan. Then you will just smooth this out. You want it as even as you can get. We're not keeping score though, guys. How easy was that? This will go in the oven. Again, that's preheated at 350 degrees for 50 to 60 minutes until it passes the cake test. Our Southern Praline Pecan cake is out of the oven Guys, it smells so good. We're going to set it over for 10 minutes. Then we're going to turn it out. While it is cooling that 10 minutes, we're going to work on the glaze. We're going to make a simple glaze for this Southern Praline Pecan cake. Starts off with 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, and to that you're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, some vanilla flavoring, about 1 teaspoon. I'm just going to eyeball it. That may have been a little bit more, but that's okay. 2 teaspoons of butter that I have melted. And we're going to whisk this around a little bit before adding our milk. We can always add more milk. And of course, if we got it too thin, we could add more sugar. But I like to add my milk slowly. So I'm going to get this mixed around and then we'll start adding a little bit of that milk till we get it to the consistency that we want it for our glaze. We're going to start adding our milk now a little at a time and just stir this in. Stir, stir. When you're mixing these glaze, at first it seems like it's not going to come together. It seems too dry, but keep stirring before you start adding more liquid back so you can see what you're working with. We do need a little bit more milk here, or in ours. I stirred that in and then I grabbed my whisk to make sure that I get all of those little pockets of the confectionery sugar mixed in. You don't want it too thick, you don't want it too thin. It's kind of like Goldilocks. This is the consistency that I'm going for, guys. If you want yours thinner, add more liquid. If you don't want it this thin, you can add less liquid. Or if you get to this point and realize that it's thinner than what you want, you can stir in some more confectionery sugar. I'm going to bring that cake over. We're going to turn it out and we're going to put this glaze on top of it. Grab your cake plate. This is my favorite. And we're going to turn this out. My pan is still a little warm, so I'm going to be using a towel to keep from burning my fingers. So this is the test here. Did I grease this pan enough so that this comes out in one piece? I got my fingers crossed. I hope you got your fingers crossed for me. So here we go. Feels like it failed. Ah, look at how beautiful. What a beautiful fall color. Look at how springy this cake is. I can hardly wait to taste some of this. This is still warm. I want my glaze to cascade down the side. So I'm going to put it on this cake while it's still warm. But making your glaze in a measuring cup is great, guys. It's a great time saver. It also makes it so much easier for you to put the glaze on your cake. I'm wanting to get the top covered really good because you know that other 1/2 cup of pecans that we have? We're going to use it. I'm going to put my leftover right in the middle. It'll be really good whenever you're getting a piece of cake out and you can just lather that bit of glaze that's in the hole on your Bundt pan. I'll clean up this plate before I serve it. So I'll just take a butter knife or something and scrape off this glaze that has gone to the bottom of my pan. You could, by all means, glaze yours on a rack and move it from the rack to your dish. But I have had accidents doing that before and my whole cake breaks. So you do you though. Now before this sets, I'm going to hurry up and get my roasted pecans right on the top of this. Guys, this will be beautiful on your fall table. Look at that. I'm going to give it just a little press so that I can get these pecans set in this glaze. And it'll set more as the glaze and the cake cools. We're going to let this cool and then we're going to get into it. How easy was this cake? I say super easy. It will be delicious if you want to take it to a church gathering, a homecoming, have it for the holidays, for breakfast with a cup of coffee. However you choose to have it, guys, you're going to love it. This cake is so moist, guys. Come over and take a look at it. Look at how moist, guys. That is a result of that buttermilk that we put in there. And look at that bite. Thank you for hanging out with me, guys. I hope that you'll make this in your home and give us a thumbs up. Subscribe and hit those notifications so that you get all of our recipes as they post. And until next time, you guys take care and God bless.